Hi Capricorn, welcome to your week ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. And as always, I would like to bless all of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. Ooh, excuse me. And this week, for your actions and interactions with the world, or your actions in your path ahead, I always get them mixed up. That's the monthlies or after, this is the weeklies. All right, so this week for your actions, you get the Six of Wands. This is amazing, right? So this is victory, it's success, but it's also the celebration of who you are. On a really sort of practical, everyday level, this is you finally patting yourself on the back. It's like, you know what, guys, you got there. Don't get me wrong, Capricorns are very aware of what their gifts are. You know, I know this stuff. You know, as you guys probably know by now, I say it all the time. I got 2 Capricorn sisters. One of my granddads was a Capricorn. I've dated 3 of you. I know Capricorn energy, right? And I love Capricorn energy. You're very, very good at knowing your strengths. And, you know, sometimes to an outside observer, if you don't know a Capricorn, they can seem quite sort of like, oh, well, you know, they think they're it. And it's like, no, they're just very, very aware of what they do really well. However, the part about Capricorn energy is you don't pat yourself on the back enough. When it comes to the big achievements of finally completing something, you're very good at that. Like you can say, yeah, you know what, look at what I've built. This is bringing that energy into the everyday. The Six of Wands is the, you know, it's like the smaller version of the Chariot. And this is asking you to get comfortable with this. Get comfortable with being your own cheerleader. Get comfortable with speaking about why you are great and ultimately celebrating yourself and your life in the smallest of ways on a daily basis. This is a week for you to really tap into this energy of I can win, I'm going to win, and ultimately every single day I am a success story, right? This is really about you delving deep into that. Whatever you guys have applied for, whether it's a job, whether it's training, whether it is, you know, some sort of education, maybe it's a qualification. This week, you get really good news. It's an absolute yes. You are on the right path. You are going in the right direction. Your Six of Wands is never a hardship. It's one of the very few cards in the tarot that doesn't have any negative association. Like whatever it touches, it adds power and strength to, you know, to lighten and brighten its energy. Your communications and conversations, you've got the Four of Wands. What? Yeah, I love it. Your Four of Wands is good news, celebrations. This is reasons for you to celebrate. Whatever you applied for, whatever you went for, you get it. This week you will hear back. This is where you get the interview. This is where if you've had the interview, you get the job. This is where you get a satisfactory offer of some kind, because your Four of Wands always sees you celebrating. It always sees you have it. This is another one of those really gorgeous cards. It's good news, celebrations. It can even represent marriage. For you guys though, you know, across the board, the feeling that I get from this is almost like whatever it is that you've committed to is now going to commit back to you. There's this energy of, you know what, you put in your half, and this week is where it kind of, you know, the energy, the universe, whatever you want to call it, kind of says, yeah, you know what, I see how hard you've been hustling. I see how hard you've been working. Now let me give you something to remind you that everything that you've asked for, everything that you're working towards is on its way to you. You've got something that's going to really make you jump for joy this week. It's going to be some really great news. Now, Four of Wands, Six of Wands, combine them, it would give you the 10. This also suggests to me that this week there is very much going to be some sort of a release of a burden, something that you might have been worried about, something that you might have been, you know, almost kind of thinking like, oh, you know, what's going to happen here? This week you're going to see that release. This week you will have that news that kind of sets you free in some way. Your money and materials. spoke about the Chariot, and here it is. Your money and materials look really good this week. What I like most about this Chariot card for you as well, it suggests that you guys have been working on something behind the scenes when it comes to the finances. So this could be a savings part, it could be money that you've put away, it could be money that you've invested, it could be something that you've decided to buy for the long term. You know, for those of you where this represents an actual car, the Six of Wands and the Chariot card, this can represent an actual car. If, you know, maybe you didn't think you were going to get the finance for the car, maybe you expected to have, you know, to need to have more of a deposit for whatever it is. Whatever your financial or material goals are this week, you will absolutely meet them. And it kind of suggests that whatever it is that you've decided to commit yourself to, in response, right, in like mind, like attracts like, that same energy is coming back to you. You're going to find that this week there's a grand, almost like a grand balance point. It's almost like you know, you might have been thinking, okay, 2020 hasn't really been too kind. I'm not too fond of 2020 so far. But this week that all changes. This week, you know, it really kind of just moves in a different direction. I will say this, whenever you see the Chariot card, it's things that happen really quickly. All right, and you've got this with two Wands cards. Wands are fire. Fire is very fast moving. So when you see this here, you know, this could really be something very dynamic that just kind of shifts everything in a really big but really great way as well, which is lovely, you know. And a big part of this, I guess, is because whatever you're doing on an internal level with your energy has to manifest in some way, and it's manifesting here in ways that are actually truly beneficial for you. So lovely to see. Your love and relations. For those of you that are single, so for all of you, you have the Page of Cups. But for those, the Page of Cups, Page of Swords, bloody hell. Come on, Ralph. Your Page of Swords, for those of you that are single, again, because this card's been quite active this week as well. This card and the Judgment card, and also the, I loathe to think about it now. Excuse me. What was it? The Wheel of Fortune. These three cards have really been, I might have to do another key to the week, we'll see. But your Page of Swords, it looks like you might have to, the only dampener here, you might have to have a bit of a tough conversation this week, maybe with a loved one, possibly with a child. It may very well just be about getting them to where they need to be in order to succeed in some way, shape or form. The fact that this falls opposite the Chariot and right next to the Six of Wands and the Four of Wands, I feel like this conversation is going to go very smoothly. So have the conversation. For those of you that are partnered, for those of you that are not partnered but you have children, have the conversation with them, because it goes really, really well. And maybe, you know, possibly even that feeling of finally for once they actually listen to me. The energy is very harmonious for this stuff, and I think it's because you're a lot more relaxed within yourself, which is really nice to see. Your Page of Swords, for those of you that are single, I'm not really here for love this week. It's not so much, you know, if you meet somebody, go for it. Remember, Mercury is in shadow this week though. If you want to get your retrograde survival kit, it's currently £10 off. But yeah, I'm not necessarily feeling that kind of vibe. You know, if anything, I think you're just riding the wave of life being so awesome this week. For those of you that are partnered, again, it's, you know, I think just be present is more than you'll need to do, because everything that you have is kind of already there, you know. And I say this a lot, like, because a lot of people say, like, oh, you know, Capricorns are unfaithful, and I'm like, do y'all even know any Capricorns? Like, whatever they're in, like, they'll just be in it to, you know, very much like Leos, flogging a dead horse match. Well, I can say that because I'm a Leo ascendant, right? Your key to the week is the Death card. So this is the end of the troublesome stuff. This is the end of the hard times. This is the end of the moments where you've just wanted to scream, right? This actually feels like that to me. What I'm picking up from this card is this isn't like the sort of the usual, like, oh shit, what is it now? This kind of feels like, you know what, in order for all of this amazing stuff to happen, you're crossing a threshold, right? This is where you kind of come out of the 2020 and into the, okay, so this is 2020. And it all starts here, right? So your Death card is basically that transition point. This week, just be present is my biggest advice to you. And also be prepared to do things in ways that you haven't done them before. The new ways, or rather new ways of doing things for you might not necessarily always gel with you. It's not an energy that, you know, that tends to be comfortable for you. But this week you will understand what you need to change and how it needs to change, and it will all come together and you'll just be like, yeah, you know what, I'm good. There's a real sort of easy, settled feeling about this week for you guys, and I kind of feel like your year is going to start now, you know, even though we passed your birthday season. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.